So this is Torque right here. Let's go ahead and talk about these little functions before I do anything. The input is the input. This is where you see the input signal. The threshold is actually something that triggers the signal. Once the signal is triggered, everything above that threshold is going to be what's changed. Now this is useful if you have something like drum overheads, like hi-hats and a snare playing at the same time recorded, and you just want to change the snare because the snare is a higher sound. You got a more impact, hit and the hi-hats are low. This threshold will allow whatever's above those hi-hat signals, if you set it there, such as the snare, to be changed while retaining whatever is under the threshold. You're good. This big knob right here that says torque is actually the main pitch changing. We got all the way down an octave, which is 1200 cents, and up an octave, which is 1200 cents. Does that make sense? This bottom button right here called speed is pretty much the attack and release in this sense. Speed being, the lower you go, which is 15, I think that's as low as you go, that's going to be a faster attack and, change. So that means the format or the torque change is going to happen in a snap. If you set it later, it's a kick, and then after 30 milliseconds, 30.9, that's when the format will say, okay, let's do it. So yeah, pretty much the same thing like a compressor would do. This torque trim is going to be pretty much a compensator in the part. If you have something like a low signal, such as like a low drum or something, and you're pitching it down, this is going to help compensate and control that signal to refrain from getting like bad harmonics or something, like bad, resonance from creating. And lastly, well, not lastly, but on the bottom here, we got the output, which is pretty much the same thing as a regular output. It's going to gain or control the signal's output. Now the last thing that we haven't spoke about is this panel right here, which is going to be the focus knob, as well as being able to solo the sound. This is where we're going to get our sweet spot, or the spot that we like in the signal, to our liking. This is pretty much the first thing you should be using. Why am I talking about it last? I don't know. So let's go ahead and play the snare. Boom. So it looks like we had some focus on like E for a second, but a little bit around the G. Let's try again. Nah, it's looking like a G because, over here is a G, over here is a G. Sorry, I meant G sharp. And let's go ahead and just play around with the torque, see what we want. So being that the song is in C major, and I want to tune the snare, perhaps I'd want something like probably a C, or maybe a fifth up, which is a C, D, E, F, G, a regular G. So maybe, just gotta tone it down a bit there, G. Let's put negative 100, and we'll play around with it. So you can hear that difference, right? I hope you do. But we gotta adjust the threshold to, hear the full effect. So you can hear something going on, right? Pretty much everything above negative 70 is being affected by the torque. We could adjust it to our liking though. I like there. As far as the speed, it doesn't precisely matter. We'll try it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Alright, cool. So there we go. That's pretty much the snare right there. Let's hear it with the song off and on. So this is off. So that is pretty damn good. Okay, so as you see, you may have heard it after the effect is applied, but the songs sound weird when the snare was not in the right tune. Oh yeah, I forgot. Before anything, let's go ahead and compare with the regular thing. Let's see the snare in here. So yeah, one has minus 100, the other one is at reset. So I'll have to like, audition them like that. So let's go ahead and, test it out. So this is the regular one without the torque. Down 100 cents. And let's hear the one with the torque on. So that's 100 cents, right? I'm just making sure. Yep. Let's hear it again. And then with. Oh, you can hear it. It sounds like a drown. Let's try and go to the extreme. Just go all the way down. And same thing here. Going 1200 down, buddies. And then with torque. Wow. So you can tell there's a major difference in the sound, and one does sound like it's, I don't know, pretty much at its wit's end. Is that the best way to say it? But yeah, this has been the Torque Stereo from Waves. If you are interested, please check the link in the description down below. By clicking on that, you're going to not only support yourself, but you're going to support your boy here, you know what I'm saying?